don't try to break their walls down. Really instead invite them like with trust and respect into a conversation. So you can say something like, you don't have to protect me from your pain. Because remember, they see it as a weakness. And so like, we don't have to be shielded from your pain. I actually welcome it. All right. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is the Imperfectly Married podcast, Enneagram edition.
That's right.
So we're just kind of keeping it real, keeping it fresh. We don't really put any filters.
No.
Like, this isn't like our highlight reel.
Not at all.
Like, we're just, you know, being messy in the middle, in the in-between.
That's right. Love it. It's just basic, beautiful truth.
Yep. Here we go.
So today's truth, beautiful, messy truth, is grief.
Oof.
Grief, right?
Yep.
And how each of the personality types of the Enneagram, how they process it, right?
Yes.
This kind of grief is one that doesn't just hit one person, it hits the marriage.
Right.
And whether it's the loss of a loved one or a dream, a season, or even just the version of life you thought you'd have, grief changes everything.
Yeah. And every couple feels it so differently, to where if you're sitting here and you're like, wow, like we find ourselves in the midst of this, I would really say go listen to last week's episode where we really dive into grief. This is going to be more focusing on the Enneagram types and how to kind of help your spouse or loved one kind of walk through that based on their Enneagram. And so what we've learned through our own story and also, you know, walking with others is just that grief doesn't just happen to you. It's happening to everyone between you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's why we wanted to take this episode, again, through the lens of the Enneagram, because every type processes pain and loss in its own way. And understanding that can bring compassion instead of confusion, which is important.
Yeah. And so whatever like place you find yourself in the middle of grief or in the middle of something heavy, or you're just trying to love your loved one through their own grief, this one's really for you. It's going to really help you to see how every different person can see grief through a different lens.
Yeah. And it helps you appreciate that too, to be able to understand. You can see your spouse in it. As you listen to all of the types, you can see, oh, wait, that's kind of how I see my spouse going through that. And it'll help you to understand more of kind of what they're going through and stuff like that. So let's start with the one, right?
Yeah.
The one is the reformer, right? Ones, we carry grief like a weight that we have to manage. We want to do it right, right? Ones feel this internal pressure that there's a correct way to handle pain. And if they can just stay strong in keeping things orderly, they will somehow honor what was lost.
Right. And that can be tough for a spouse, especially because ones may not give themselves permission to really fall apart.
Yeah.
And so they want to keep functioning just to hold it all together. But on the inside, they're really feeling like that exhaustion.
Oh, absolutely exhausting. And grief does not play by the rules at all.
I wish it did.
Yes, it's messy.
Yeah.
So for the one, healing starts with letting go of the need to perfect the process.
Yeah. So if you're married to a one, which I happen to be married to a one, the best thing that you can do is remind them that they don't have to fix the pain. They can actually lean in and feel it, and that it's not a weakness. Really feeling into that pain translates to courage.
No, and that's absolutely true. And for our faith friends out there, right, we have Psalm 34:18 that says, "The Lord is near the brokenhearted." So you don't have to earn his comfort. You just have to receive his comfort.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move into the type 2, which is the helper. So 2s, like, they grieve through doing for other people. They're serving. So they want to comfort everyone else. Like, they're the ones that are making the meal trains, the calls, organizing everything, but often they never stop really long enough to process their own hurt.
Yeah, and so they'll meet everyone else's needs while quietly bleeding inside. And so for the 2, grief feels selfish if it's about them.
Yeah, which can be hard because if you're married to a 2, you really need to kind of help them to see that their own hurt and their own heart matters also. So you can say something like you've been there for everyone else, like, can I be there for you right now? And that really helps them to kind of like analyze, like, okay, so like, what is it that I'm actually needing in this moment? And it helps them to actually see that they actually may have a need. And I would also say for the spouse too, that asking them what they need in this moment, they may not know right away, but keep on asking, because eventually, you know, as we prompt them more to see their own needs,
and feel safe in the environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll help them in the process.
Yeah. So that small question and those questions gives them the permission to rest. See, Jesus modeled that kind of love. Even he would withdraw to grieve and pray. So there's parts of that is okay, that needs to happen.
Yeah. So it's really okay for you 2s to let others really love you back. That's not a weakness, it's balance. So you're not only needed, but you're also loved.
That's
so key.
You know, as we've been doing these Enneagram episodes, there are these key truths for each type that are just so beautiful that when you capture those and you really put those in you, there's such a beautiful thing to capture for each type.
Right.
Yeah. So next we have the 3s, right? These are the achievers. Now, 3s process grief through motion. They want to keep going, stay productive, stay strong, because grief to them threatens their sense of competence.
Yeah. So they often feel like, if I stop, I'm going to fall apart. So they really throw themselves into projects. They could tend to start staying late at work, or even volunteering at the church or in the community, anything just to avoid feeling like they're failing at holding it all together.
Yeah. But here's the truth. You can't out-achieve grief.
Yeah.
You have to face it.
That's so good.
3s need to remember that their worth isn't tied to performance. It's anchored in love, both human and divine.
Yeah. So again, if you're married to that 3, invite that honesty without like the pressure. You know, instead of saying, you know, how are you doing? Maybe try, what's the hardest thing for you this week?
Yeah.
And what it does is it's going to open that door up to vulnerability.
Yeah. God doesn't need your performance to prove your faith. He just wants your presence, not performance, presence.
So good.
Sometimes the most productive thing a 3 can do in grief is rest.
Yeah. So key. So key. So that's going to really lead us into the type 4, which is the individualist. So 4s, I love a 4 because they wear their emotions on their sleeve.
Yeah.
So 4s really feel grief like the most. Like they're going to be like in the nitty gritty of those feelings and emotions, and they don't need to run from it at all because they actually live in it. It becomes like a part of their story, almost something that they like begin to identify with, and it becomes a part of their identity.
Yeah. See, so, and that can be beautiful, but also a little dangerous,
right?
Because grief can start to define them instead of refine them.
Oh, okay. Say that again because that's so good.
No, so grief, right, can start to define the 4 instead of refining the 4.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like that should be like a tag phrase for the type 4. So again, if you're married to that type 4, understanding that their depth isn't just drama, it's actually that connection piece. And they're trying to make sense of their pain through meaning. So don't try to rush them through their feelings or out of their feelings. Like, don't try to rush the process because they're on a journey, and helping them to also to not wear it as a badge of honor, but encouraging them just to be vocal and like really meet them in those deep thoughts.
Yeah. And for the 4, your emotions are sacred ground. I mean,
Right.
they really are, but they aren't the whole truth. God meets you in your feelings, but he also gently calls you forward from them.
So 2 Corinthians 1:3 calls God the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, so that you can really feel deeply and still find that hope again.
Yeah, and that's right. So the 4 in that sense is absolutely wonderful. So we're going to move on to the type 5, which is the investigator. Now 5s deal with grief in their minds. We know that about the 5s. They're about the mind, and they analyze it. They study it. They're trying to understand it, because for them, knowledge feels safer than the emotional part of it.
Yeah, so they might look calm or detached, but on the inside, they're feeling that overwhelm.
Yeah.
So their way of surviving is to really pull away and conserve that energy.
Yeah. So if you're married to a 5, don't mistake space for disconnection. That's important.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So
they're
good.
processing internally instead of forcing conversation. Just offer a gentle presence. Sit near them. Just be available, but don't be demanding of it.
Right. And so for the 5s, Jesus didn't ask you to figure out your grief. Like, don't read all the books and like study it all out. He says, just come to me, all who are weary, and you can't think your way to peace.
See, that's just beautifully said. So that's our type 5. Next, we're going to move in our type 6, which is our loyal guardian.
Loyal guardian.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so 6s really experience grief as fear and like this level of like uncertainty.
Yeah.
So they're gonna like constantly worry, like, what if this happens again? What if I can't handle it? So loss really shakes their sense of security.
Oh, see, 6s, they crave safety, they crave support, but they also question it at the same time. So they might cling one moment and then push away the next. Grief for the 6 can really amplify their anxiety.
Yeah. And so if you're married to a type 6, the best gift that you can give them is stability. Like, don't promise them that everything is going to be fine, but just remind them that they're not alone and sit with them.
Yeah. So for a 6, trust is the healing pathway. Psalm 56:3 says this: when I am afraid, I will trust in you. That's the anchor. Not perfect answers, but perfect presence.
And spouses, you really just be patient.
Yeah.
Their loyalty runs so deep. They just need reassurance that you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and that again, that concludes our 6. We're now going into the 7, the enthusiast. The 7 processes grief very interestingly. We talked about that. 7s, they have a hard time sitting in grief.
Yeah.
Pain feels like a trap, and they'll do almost anything to escape it. Stay busy, travel, laugh, just distract me from the pain.
Yep, that would be me. they can also like reframe everything into the positive. So it's like if I'm going through something, it's like a lot of the times I'll just be like, oh, well, it's probably going to be better because of this. And so it can look like I'm having faith in this situation, but really a lot of the times it's just pure avoidance.
Yeah, see, and that's true. And grief feels like a limitation, and sevens hate limits. Don't box me in.
Don't box
right?
me in.
But if they can learn to slow down and face pain,
Yeah, that sounds awful.
they will discover that joy and sorrow can actually coexist.
Yeah. So if you're married to a 7,
I am.
resist the urge to pull them out of that pain too quickly.
Yeah, I can take that
Let
advice.
them know it's okay to not be okay and that you'll sit in the hard with them. I think that's huge.
Yeah. Sevens, real joy isn't found in escaping pain, okay? It's found in God's presence through it.
Yeah.
Psalm 35 says, weeping may stay for the night, but joy, come on, joy comes in the morning. That's a promise.
And the joy isn't like denial. It's actually part of the redemption process.
Come on.
So now we're going to move into the type 8, the challenger.
Challenger.
So 8s are really strong. They're protective. They're powerful. So grief to them can really kind of feel like a weakness. So they don't want to be vulnerable because vulnerability feels super unsafe.
No, see, exactly. They'd rather fight pain than feel it. It's easier for them that way. And so they might channel grief into action. Who do I need to protect? Who can I fix? But underneath, there's fear of betrayal or a loss of control in the moment.
Yeah, it's hard. So if you're married to an 8, don't try to break their walls down. Really, instead, invite them like with trust and respect into a conversation. So you can say something like, you don't have to protect me from your pain. Because remember, they see it as a weakness. And so like, we don't have to be shielded from your pain. I actually welcome it. I want to hear part of it.
Yeah, see, that's good. Also, when an 8 lets their guard down, that's like holy ground.
Yeah.
That's like a holy space.
Yeah.
And for the 8, God isn't asking you to be invincible. That's not your role. He says, my grace is sufficient for you. And so you can rest your strength in His. That's where actually you get your strength.
Yeah. True strength isn't like avoiding tears.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually allowing them to flow. And that leads perfectly into our last one.
Our type 9.
The type 9.
Peacemaker. 9s. So 9s, you often numb out in grief.
Yeah.
Don't want any part of it. 9s, you often retreat into a comfort, a routine, or distraction because pain feels like conflict. And you don't want any part of conflict because conflict in your world disrupts peace.
Yep. So they might seem calm on the outside, but on the inside, they're avoiding the storm. So their danger is in shutting down instead of showing up.
So if you are married to a 9, gently draw them back into connection. Ask things like, what's happening inside of you right now? And then just listen. This is the key. Listen without pushing.
Yeah.
Allow them to get there.
Yeah. I don't think that we're ever going to stop saying this, but 9s, your presence matters.
Yep.
Even in the pain. So God's peace isn't the absence of sorrow. It's really the presence of His Spirit within it.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, it's so
come
good.
on. Philippians 4:7 says, His peace surpasses all understanding, which means you don't have to understand your grief to be held by Him in it.
Wow.
Man, that's good.
That is good. That's such
Jeez,
a
I
good
should
reminder for all of us.
Honestly.
Right? Like grief doesn't look the same in any 2 people and any 2 types. So that's what I love about the Enneagram. And that's why we do this.
Why we do this.
But every single type can find hope, healing, and restoration.
That's absolutely attainable. So if you're walking through grief right now, take this as your permission to move at your own pace. There is no right or wrong way, just an honest one.
Yeah. And also remember that marriage doesn't escape grief. It's that bond that it endures it.
Yeah,
and so together you don't have to grieve the same way in order to grieve side by side.
Yeah. See, God meets us in the middle of loss, not after we've figured it all out. That's not the God we serve. And maybe that's the most comforting thing, that he's in it with us the whole time.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today. And if you were encouraged by our episode, please share it with another couple who might need to hear that they're just not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those important ones, especially grief. That's a big one that you need to, one, learn how to process that, but learn how somebody else is so you can then bring comfort to them.
And grow together.
Yeah, absolutely grow together. So we'll see you next time, where we will keep marriage real, honest, and true every time.
Every single time.
And perfectly beautiful.
See you next week.